All right, let's try that again. Welcome to Start Building Me, my nightly training session to get you into the healthy habit of diet and exercise. You have to exercise, folks. It's mandatory. Not a fancy sounding Italian pasta. Mandatory. It's mandatory, meaning you have to exercise, folks. So please, if you don't want to become old and decrepit or even young and decrepit, I insist that you exercise. So many of the problems that young people have in this day and age comes purely down to the fact that they don't exercise at all. Hold me to that, fight me on that. I'll duke it out with anyone if you can't trying to disagree with me on this fact that so many people that have nervous and anxiety, depression issues, I put it to them that they probably don't exercise enough. How can I say that? How dare you say that? I can say it because I suffer from anxiety and depression and all kinds of things that benefit from exercise. So good to see you, Sal. Star Jump in the house. Like I said, I'll take the Pepsi challenge with everyone. It's one of those things that people, it's a chicken and egg. They say they've got some problem and exercise hasn't helped. Well, they probably haven't exercised hard enough, and I will die on this hill quite happily. We have people skirting around the issue of metabolic disorder, which means you're overweight. I'm going to tell it to you as it is, folks. There is a BMI index and it's not out of date. We're just all overweight. I'm even at the edge of the being overweight for the Western BMI, and by Western BMI I mean only BMI really, because we carry too much body fat. We don't have to eat 3 times a day. We've been led to believe a whole bunch of lies with the food pyramid, and it's just simply not true. So look, without overdoing it here with my full of beans nature, since I'm not tired, let's get to walk and talk or squat and talk, and I'll continue my rhetoric on the way. Good to see you in the house. Yeah, speaking of anxiety, that means we have got to get cracking, do some goblet squats or just some squats, whatever it is that you want to do. Just pump the blood around your body is the aim of the game here at Start Building Me. After all, it is Start Building Me, not continue building me, professional building me. Let's become world champion building me. I'm trying to get people into the habit of exercise. So many people don't understand that you have to exercise every single day. They think that it's crazy talk. They think, oh no, my 3-day-a-week gym split is good enough. That's not true. You've got to do something every day. Doesn't have to be the gym, doesn't have to be weights. But, you know, for instance, I've walked my dogs 6 kilometers today. I've done about an hour of weights, an hour of cycling. So, you know, it accumulates and everyone has a time. Do not fool yourself, and especially don't fool me, because I'm not taking it. Like I said, metabolic disorder, I'll take that, you know, because it's accurate. And Peter Attia says it, who I have said, admittedly, I am a fanboy of Dr. Peter Attia, even though Peter Attia and Dr. Andrew Huberman do get up their scientific sphincters a little bit too much for my liking, and think that no one can have an opinion unless you are a PhD in your field. I think that is a path to ruins. I think a lot of great information about health and diet and exercise I've had has been from people who have no credentials, and admittedly, you know, take it with a grain of salt, like from everyone. But I think it's a little bit of a meme that, you know, you should only believe something that a doctor says to you. There was a classic meme that I saw recently, is that scientists can be bought just as easily as politicians. And if you know how easily politicians can be bought, you'll see the genius of this meme. Everybody has a price, folks. Even Dave at Start Building Me, he has a price, and it's starting at $3.50. Just joking, of course. I'm doing this for the love, not for the money, because there is no money in keeping people healthy. This is the problem. It's like they say in healthcare, is there's no money in curing people. You want to keep people as patients? And that is what makes you money. I am the anti-influencer. I state quite proudly, trying to make a movement to get people outside. A la Terence McKenna, my favorite quote from the legendary psychonaut, ethnobotanist, that we should be creating our own culture, that the most important and interesting person in your life, folks, is you. And like I said, I'm not blowing smoke up the proverbial, because there is nothing in that for me. I know for a fact, like I said, interesting people, scientist or not, doctor or not, whatever it is you being the most interesting person that you'll probably come across in your day, and you should be living in that trajectory rather than just watching other people play video games and girls in bubble baths. It makes me sick that people don't give it up for themselves. In the Start Building Me household here, old Dave, I am 100% involved in my own culture creation, which is potentially problematic, in erring on the side of psychotic, but in the end, I do a lot of cool stuff, and you will too if you just wait. Don't trip over your kettlebell and die. If you just, like I said, have some faith in yourself. As always, not only business, trading, whatever, I've always backed myself, and it's the right way to do, the right path to take, folks. I guarantee you that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. As always, we're sitting back into our heels, weights going to the outside of our feet and heels and toes, and breathe. As I always say, this is just as much for me as it is for people out. That's why I love doing it. I've got an ulterior motive of getting a 15-minute kettlebell and push-up exercise in before I go on my merry way and get back to what I was doing, which was developing one of the businesses that I'm doing, Sailor Star Jump being one of the people that's involved, and we've got some good kicking some goals there. Basically, as you can see, during my time off in between doing sets of squats, I just find myself walking in circles a little bit. Keeps strength in your toes. Don't forget, you walk on the ball of your feet, folks. One thing that I always try and instruct people, you can see it on my YouTube, see it on an older post that I made on my Instagram. If you want to walk properly, walk backwards. Walking backwards teaches you how you're actually supposed to walk, which is your ball of your foot and your big toe come in contact with the ground first. The movement happens through your hips, as you may or may not know. You step through, and the last thing to leave the ground again is your big toe. That's why catwalk models walk as they do, and it looks kind of weird when you see people walking that way, but alas, they are walking properly, and you are not. It's like breathing. They say mammals, we're the only mammals as humans that don't breathe properly because of our vanity. We don't want to breathe out through our diaphragm using our stomach muscles, which is the correct way to breathe, and instead we breathe in through our lungs, which is actually incorrect, and as a result of vanity. So if you're trying to breathe properly, you lie on your back, put the remote control, if you're watching television, your wallet, your mobile phone, something like that, on your belly, and watch the rise and fall of your stomach. If you're doing that, you're breathing correctly. Congratulations. If you're not, you are a victim of vanity, just like Dave here at Start Building Me. It's something that I've had to relearn. And man, we're so vain as the human mammal that we will be breathing through our, the dogs are trying to get in, breathing in through our chest even when we're really physically exerted. So it's funny how we will literally breathe in the wrong way, crippling our own progress as a result of not wanting our stomachs to stick out, which is quite ridiculous, but not as ridiculous as all the stuff we do as human beings. And breathe. Follow what I say, not what I do. As I speak at a machine gun pace. You have to breathe, folks. It's still free for the time being until the UN gets their greasy hands over all of our country's laws. I'll keep the reptilian stuff to a minimum. Like I said, I don't want to get shadow banned here, not yet. Until then, breathing's free, and you should really breathe in through your diaphragm. Like I said, your stomach, let your stomach expand. and really to the brink of the end of that breath, till there's really nothing left that your stomach can squeeze out, and then let your stomach expand again. That is how we should be breathing, and so many people just do not do that properly. And it's like I said, like breathing and walking, two very essential things. How do you walk? Walk backwards. That's how you will find out how unco I am. I'm just trying to not clonk into my cameras and rip my virtual studio down. So obviously I'm not that uncoordinated. I am just not trying to destroy my quite expensive setup that I have here. Nonetheless, we walk on the balls of our feet, folks. If you're heel striking, you're going to damage your knee. It's absolutely not how we're supposed to run. People try to argue with that, you know, think about how gymnasts land, think about how boxers land, think about how wrestlers stand, how surfers stand. And people are saying, oh, when I'm running though, there is a correct heel strike technique. That's just BS, and it's going to fade out in time, like all other things that are BS, folks, because it's BS, and it just makes no sense mechanically that you're going to land on your heel before the ball of your foot. The whole point of your heel is just to stabilize the ball of your foot very flat when you're landing on it. And as I said, think of any sport, anything where there's dexterity involved with your legs. You're not going to be heel striking. So if you're one of those old school people that just wants to bash your head up against a wall and argue against facts, as a professor of mine once said, you can't argue with facts. A fact is a fact, after all. 12 minutes in, let's do some push-ups, get out of here. And like I said, always think about the balls of your feet on the ground. Every single sport, anything where there's dexterity, anything where you're changing planes, it's always going to be on the ball of your foot. If not, you're doing it wrong. I don't care what you think, I don't care what you say, I don't care what studies and links you want to point me to. Heel strikes are the way of the past from people who are idiot numbskulls. Some things develop in time, folks, and that is one of them. I'm going to change it to the patented crotch cam here in the startbuilding.me studio. Do some push-ups, and I'm going to get out of here on my merry way and hope for you to do the same, whatever it is that you're doing this evening. If you are on the eastern seaboard of Australia, you're probably still bludgeon at work if you're on the west, and if it's in the morning in Germany or the UK for some other people that are start building me over there that I know, God knows what time it is in the American continent. Like I said, be your own culture. Treat yourself like an MMORPG. Train your body. Increase your own stats. It's something that will be with you forever, and it will increase the quality of your life. And as I always say here on Start Building Me, your body doesn't work if you do not walk your body. That's another thing that's unfalsifiable. I'm not being arrogant. I'm not being difficult. I'm not trying to be an a-hole. I'm just trying to tell you the truth, folks, where I speak to young folks, you know, who are not exercising at all, who are trying to run through different medications and stuff, wondering why they're anxious and depressed and they don't exercise at all. You have to exercise, folks. It's just one of those things that for some reason flies under the radar and people think it's not necessary, or as I say, it's not mandatory. It absolutely is mandatory, and you've got to do it every day. You might just want to walk, listen to a podcast, listen to an audiobook, do a few push-ups, maybe off your knees. It really doesn't matter. The aim is dilating our blood vessels, i.e. expanding our blood vessels from our heart pumping through our organs into our extremities, into our brain, folks. Who would have thought we needed that? It's something that you've really, really got to get into a habit of, and that's what I'm here for. And my dogs are trying to, are here for it as well, but they're not coming in because they're just going to get stuff all over my set here and cause a nuisance. My biggest dog, Dale, likes to sit right here in the middle, which is not very convenient, so I'll deal with him in a sec. But really, it's just something you can see the Start Building Me thing come up live. You don't have to train with me. You might just hit the ground, give me 5 push-ups, and leave it at that. Don't try and overexert yourself. Don't be like a personal trainer who's going to flog you and then leave you feeling sore and not wanting to exercise the next day. I've been against that militantly for the last 20 years whilst personal training people. I just think you've got to get into the habit of just doing a little bit every day and see it for what it is. It's just something that's a part of your life, like having a shower, brushing your teeth, eating, you know. It's just something that you've got to do. And with the beauty of Audible and podcasts and, you know, all these different systems that we have online these days, you can do something at the same time to take the boredom away if you find it boring, which I hear a lot of people think it's quite boring, and, you know, it's just the way it is. But, you know, I don't like eating. I think eating's boring. I think brushing my teeth's boring. A lot of the things that we have to do are not really exciting. And in the grand scheme of things, I think exercise is probably the most exciting part of my day. And second is sleeping, because I love sleeping. Sleeping is the greatest part of my life. How sad is that? Anyway, sad but true, 16 minutes in. I'm going to do 10 more push-ups. Love to you, wherever you are in the world. Switch off the news, switch off social media, get outside. Get into the sun, breathe, folks, and realize that you are the most important person in your life. People will try and say, oh, you can't say that, it's all about the community. I just said it. You are the most important person. Focus on yourself. Have your vitamins and love the Hulk Hogan or whatever his slogan was. Have a good one, folks. Amen to the antihistamine. So that, yes, hell yeah. I know exactly what you're talking about, an insider there, and I'll be doing the same thing. But love you, sister, love you, everyone here in live or repeat, and I'll see you again tomorrow. Have a good day and peace, or good night.